Have you ever loved someone, but the closer you tried to get, the farther they pulled away? If you just nodded, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Jim, and today we're going to uncover one of the biggest mysteries in modern love. Why do avoidants pull away when you care deeply? And what happens when they lose someone who truly mattered? Most people assume that if someone is distant, it means they don't care. But the truth is often the opposite. Avoidants can love deeply, but they're terrified of it. Behind the silence, the distance, and the disappearances is a defense system built from old wounds. The problem? Most of us react the wrong way. We chase harder, trying to prove our worth, or worse, we shrink and stay silent just to keep the peace. Both of these cost you the most important thing, yourself. In this video, you'll discover the real psychology behind avoidant behavior, the truth 99% of people never tell you, the common mistakes that make you lose your own identity. The challenge: don't chase strategy that helps you stay empowered while communicating effectively. And most importantly, how to protect your heart without abandoning your self-worth. This isn't about hacking someone or forcing them to love you. This is about becoming secure, grounded, and learning how to love without losing yourself. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button right now and watch until the very end, because in the final part of this video, I'll share a message that could completely change how you see yourself and love forever. There is a hard truth to accept. The more you love an avoidant person, the easier it is to fall into an endless emotional spiral. You're not just waiting for a reply message. You're waiting for confirmation that you're good enough, that you deserve to be loved. Each time they disappear, your heart aches not only because of their silence, but also because of that old fear within you, the fear of abandonment. And in that moment, many fall into the most dangerous trap, trying to do more to keep the other person. You text more, you concede more, even change yourself to fit them. But have you noticed? The more you do, the wider the distance between you becomes. This isn't because you're not good enough. On the contrary, it's a sign that you're using the wrong strategy. You're trying to heal someone else's fear by harming yourself. I want you to stop here and ask yourself, when was the last time I felt at peace in this relationship? Am I loving them or trying not to lose them? These questions are important because they help you see one thing clearly. How you react to their avoidance is determining the fate of the relationship and your own mental health. The first thing a securely attached person would do is neither chase nor silently sacrifice. They face the truth and accept the pain. The other person is withdrawing, and it's not their fault. It's merely a sign of a defense system they haven't learned to dismantle. Accepting this truth isn't about letting go immediately, but about stopping the futile fight against a closing door. It gives you the space to regain your strength, to move into the most important part, understanding why they are this way and why that doesn't define your worth. When someone suddenly pulls away, your first instinct is to blame yourself. What did I do wrong? Do I love them too much? But the truth is this: their creating distance says nothing about your worth. It speaks to the battle inside them. Avoidants often don't pull away because they don't care. On the contrary, many love deeply, but the more they love, the more they fear. Behind their silence is a defense system programmed long ago. Closeness equals danger. Imagine, a child grows up in an environment where love is unstable, sporadic, or tied to hurt. To survive, they learn to self-soothe, to be self-reliant. They convince themselves that relying on others is a risk. And so, when real love appears in adulthood, it triggers that ancient fear. If I let someone too close, I will lose control. And if I lose control, I will get hurt. This is not a conscious choice. It's a survival reflex. And the paradox is, they want to love but fear being swallowed. They crave closeness but interpret it as a threat. That's why you see them warm and present at times, then suddenly vanish. It's not that they're playing mind games, but that a battle is raging within them. The urge to connect versus the fear of losing freedom. Picture someone starving, standing before a lavish feast. They want to eat, they need to eat, but in their mind rings, be careful, this food might be poisonous. So they step forward, then recoil. With love, the avoidant does the same. The problem is, when you don't understand this, you mistake their behavior for indifference, and you react wrongly. You chase to erase the distance, or withdraw to keep the peace. both make you lose yourself. But now you know the truth. Their distance isn't a judgment about you, but a manifestation of a fear they haven't resolved. This awareness will be the foundation for the next part, the mistakes that cause you to lose yourself in a relationship with an avoidant. When you love an avoidant, your instinct almost always whispers, if I do more, they'll come back. If I demand less, they'll stay. And that's exactly when you begin falling into mistakes that exhaust you emotionally and erode your self-esteem. The first mistake is chasing. You feel the distance widening, and in your mind there's only one goal: how to close the gap. You text more, you try to create surprise encounters, you constantly prove that you're good enough so they won't leave. The problem is, the more you do this, the more you reinforce their belief that intimacy is dangerous. For an avoidant, being chased doesn't feel safe. It triggers the fear of losing freedom. And do you know what happens next? They pull away even further. The second mistake is silent endurance. You think, I'll wait, I won't pressure them, then they'll come back. So you pack all your insecurity inside, suppress your feelings, pretend everything's fine to keep the peace. But what's the price? You begin to lose your voice. You learn to shrink yourself, cut off your legitimate needs just to hold on to someone who's slowly disappearing. And then, not only does the relationship grow distant, but you also become a stranger to yourself. Both mistakes stem from a dangerous illusion. If I try a little harder, I can control the outcome. But love doesn't work that way. You can't heal wounds they're not ready to face, and you certainly can't keep someone by hurting yourself. The truth is, every time you ignore your own needs in exchange for their presence, you're sending yourself a message: I don't matter. And that message, if repeated long enough, will destroy you more than any breakup ever could. So what's the other path? The path of an emotionally mature person, someone who knows how to love without losing themselves. And that's exactly what we're about to discuss. The challenge, don't chase strategy. It's time for you to completely change your approach. If the previous two mistakes were unconscious reactions born of fear, this strategy is a deliberate action born of self-worth. It's not about controlling the other person, but about regaining your balance, preserving your dignity, and maintaining a healthy relationship or walking away if that's not possible. So what does challenge mean? Not a power play, not making them jealous, and certainly not punishing in silence. Challenge here means daring to speak the truth calmly and clearly, even if that truth makes you anxious. Imagine you notice the other person starting to withdraw. Instead of sending 10 messages asking, "Are you okay?" you could say, "I've noticed that when things get closer, you tend to create distance. That makes me feel unsettled, and I want to understand what's happening." And this statement embodies 3 principles: not blaming, only describing behavior; sharing your feelings without judgment; opening a dialogue, not starting a fight. Because the truth is, you cannot make an avoidant change with love alone, but you can set boundaries for how they treat you. And these boundaries are not threats, but affirmation. I need connection and clarity. If this doesn't work for you, I respect that, but I will also choose what's best for me. This is the difference between someone who chases out of fear of loss and someone who knows their worth. A secure person will not wait indefinitely, nor use silence to manipulate. They offer the other person a chance, but without losing themselves in the process. The wonderful thing is, when you act this way, you send a powerful message. I'm willing to connect, but I'm also willing to walk away if this relationship forces me to abandon myself. That is true attraction, the attraction of someone who knows they deserve the best. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, what have I learned from this experience? Because in reality, a relationship with an avoidant not only hurts you, it also gives you an extremely valuable opportunity to look back at how you love and how you love yourself. Perhaps on this journey, you've realized you once accepted less than you deserve. You once let the fear of losing someone outweigh your own peace. You once thought that if you tried hard enough, you would be loved. But the truth is, true love doesn't come from proving yourself or chasing. It comes from the safety that both bring to each other. And if a person isn't ready, you can't love them enough to make them overcome their fear. That's not on you. See this relationship as a mirror. It shows you where you need healing. Are you relying too much on validation from others? Are you forgetting your own voice to keep the peace? Are you judging your worth by someone else's actions? If the answer is yes, don't blame yourself. This is the first step to awakening. From now on, you can choose a different way to love. A love where you don't have to fear the silence. A love where you don't need to play the savior. A love where you remain yourself, and that's enough. Matthew Hussey said something very true. You are not rejected because you're lacking something. You are rejected because they aren't ready to receive all that you have. And that's the greatest reminder. The problem isn't your worth. Don't keep chasing someone who can't step into the emotional space you need, because the more you cling, the more you lose the chance to meet someone who truly is ready. And that person exists out there, but you'll only meet them when you stop clinging to half measures. In the next part, I will give you a powerful closing message so you can leave with peace, without regrets, and knowing you're on the right path to finding a love you deserve. When you've calmly challenged, clearly stated your needs, and still face silence, it's time to face the truth. You cannot save a relationship if the other person isn't willing to walk with you. And I know this hurts, because you've invested so much emotion, you see the potential, you believe that if they overcome their fear, you'll both be happy. But remember one thing, you're not here to prove your worth by enduring emotional deprivation. When you stay in a relationship where your basic needs are ignored, connection, clarity, care, you send yourself a dangerous message. I don't deserve to be loved in the way I need. And if that message repeats, it won't just exhaust you, it will shatter your self-respect. Matthew Hussey once said something worth pondering. Avoidants don't break down the moment they lose you. They only realize what's precious when you're gone. But that's no reason for you to stay and sacrifice your peace. That's right, because if you stay hoping one day they'll see, you become the cushion for their fears, while bearing all the pain yourself. You have the right to love, but you also have the right to love yourself first. Set a clear boundary. I need a relationship with presence and clarity. If that's not possible, I will choose to walk away. Easier said than done, but consider this. You can hurt for a few months by letting go, or you'll hurt for years staying where you must beg for the most basic elements of love. When you decide to leave, it's not a failure, it's a courageous act. The act of someone who understands that true love doesn't require losing oneself. And the paradox is, it's when you choose to walk away with dignity that you become more attractive than ever. Not to them, but to life itself, to those mature enough to love you as you deserve. We've journeyed far in this video, from identifying the pain of loving an avoidant, understanding why they behave that way, seeing the mistakes, men including perhaps you have made, to learning mature communication and setting boundaries to protect yourself. If there's one thing you need to carry with you after all this, it's you are not too much. You are simply loving in a healthy way. When someone doesn't reciprocate the connection you crave, it doesn't define your worth, it only shows their limits. Don't keep chasing a door that's closing, because that only pulls you away from yourself. Instead, ask, does this relationship meet my emotional needs? Or am I trying to patch a void that only they can heal themselves? Matthew Hussey says something very true. Avoidants don't collapse when you leave. They collapse when they realize they lost the only one who stayed when they ran away. But the truth is, that's no longer your concern. Your role isn't to stay and wait for them to wake up, but to return to yourself, the one who deserves a love that doesn't always feel like a battle. If you recognize yourself in what I've shared today, remember, loving someone deeply doesn't mean losing yourself. You deserve peace, a relationship where you are seen, heard, and loved safely. And if this video has given you clarity or the strength to walk away with dignity, hit subscribe and join me for the next videos. Because we'll continue talking about building confidence, loving without fear, and creating truly healthy connections. Make yourself a promise right now. I will never let love become a price paid with my own worth. When you keep that promise, you will never lose yourself in any relationship again.